All right, 5 minutes. My name is Loris De Giovanni. I'm CTO and founder of Sysdig. I've also been involved in open source for 15 years at this point. I was one of the part of the original team that created the Wireshark network analyzer. And recently, I've been the creator and heavily engaged with Falco. Actually, with the amount of time that I have, I was thinking, in order to give you something useful, I just want maybe to talk to you a little bit about Falco. Falco is a tool for runtime threat detection and runtime security for Kubernetes. Falco is open source. It's part of CNCF. And essentially, it works as an anomaly detection engine that can take multiple inputs, for example, system calls that are captured by deploying the Falco agent. It can take Kubernetes audit events and mixes all of these with Kubernetes metadata to produce alerts. So to tell you if something is wrong in real time, at runtime with your Kubernetes environment. Falco is deployed typically as a daemon set in Kubernetes. So here in this slide, you have the host of a machine where there are multiple containers that are running. Falco runs as a further container that you deploy on the machine. And running this container deploys eBPF-based instrumentation that can collect data from the other containers that are running on the machine. So one thing about Falco is completely transparent and doesn't require any modification to the containers that are in the pods that are scheduled by Kubernetes on the same machine. The other thing that Falco does is it takes, this diagram shows multiple machines, each of which with several containers running, and the color coding here is the service that the containers belong to. And typically, looking at things like on the left side of the slide, is not super useful in Kubernetes. You want to essentially find all the containers that are the same color, so that are part of the same service, and treat them as a unit when you define policies for them, or when you receive events or alerts for them. All right, let's take a look. Font too small. All right. I noticed that, let's do it this side too. I noticed that the speakers before me are smart people and mostly did recordings for their demo. I am not as smart as them, so I will try to see if my conference network allows me, of course, the moment I go on stage, I lose connectivity completely.
Everybody get off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Which Wi-Fi? Try to give it a second to see if I'm luckier. TCP timeout. Let me quickly try to switch to the conference one. Okay, looks like I have no network, so I cannot give the demo to you. With Falco, I'm able essentially to collect information at runtime, and the demo would have let me look at the logs coming from my little Kubernetes cluster that is running on GKE, and being able to exec into a container and look at the output from Falco that would have let me know. Oh, it worked now. It took a while. As you can see, I just exec inside the container, and Falco immediately tells me that by looking at the Kubernetes API that somebody did an exec inside the container and that a shell was spawned inside this container. And now I'm inside this container, so if I do malicious activity, for example, I don't know, I can go and I can modify a system binary, which is something that you should never see. Again, in real time, Falco is telling me that this file is being modified, and as you can see, it gives me context, not only the specific container, but the Kubernetes pod, the namespace, and all of the other information that I need. Sysdig, as a company, offers actually a full platform built around Falco that allows essentially you to manage this engine around your Kubernetes cluster, and allows you to do much more than just runtime protection, but just something that puts together multiple tools like Prometheus, Falco, Sysdig, Anchor in a complete work stream that can offer you a lot of functionality for container security. For example, here I'm logged into Sysdig Secure, and I see that there's a terminal shelling container. This is a Falco alert that is being captured essentially in a centralized place by Sysdig Secure, and I can look at all of the details about this event. But as you can see, Sysdig Secure was also able to take a capture of this event while Falco was generating it. So I can go and I can analyze this capture, and I can essentially take a look at what happened in this capture, and I can see that there was a bunch of activity around the moment where this happened, and I can take a look at the commands that were executed. I can even take a look at the payloads. Of course, I don't have a lot of time to show you all of these. Just want to mention that we did a big release of Sysdig Secure, which adds a lot of new functionality and covers the full life cycle of containers: run, build, run, and response. So if you want to learn more, come to our booth. We are at booth P33, and we were putting these on the tables. We're actually giving away at our booth the book Linux Observability with eBPF. It's an orally book that is written by Lorenzo, one of the Sysdig employees. And if you show up with one of these, you will be able to get the book signed and get a free copy of the book. It's a really good book. Other than that, thank you very much, and have a good rest of the conference.